So we are now live, and
Right.
there are around 100 plus students are there already.
We are live on YouTube, and this session is being recorded.
Thank you very much. So that's great to note that, and I'm so happy to be associated with EdMyst. I think I should thank Mr. Ajay Sharma for all this connection. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I take this privilege and pleasure welcoming the panelists of the day. And I start with the lady, Aparna Khastagir. She's joining from Bangalore. She's CSO EdMyst. She's basically from her experience is from HR. And Mr. Vivek Gupta, who is the founder of EdMyst, is a former GE and Columbia Business School. Vivek is joining from US. So welcome, Vivek. Good morning to you, basically. Amit Gulati, he was the sales leader, TEDx coach, and ex-OLX, Flipkart, and DuPont. Welcome all of you to this Jamia Millia Islamia. I have my colleague Shahira Akhtar, who is the consultant to Training and Placement Office, and I request her to just take on further. Shahira.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. To all the esteemed guests present here. Good afternoon to all the students. So as we all know, we've gathered here online for a session on getting job ready in the changing environment and leveraging a powerful resume. So that's going to be the basis of this discussion. To take on from where Rehan Saab just introduced our guests, I would like to take the honor and privilege of just maybe throwing some more light on, a brief introduction about what our guests actually have been doing. So I would also like to go ahead and start with the lady, I think first, ma'am. So Ms. Aparna Khastagir, she has more than 25 years of experience across HR functions across multiple industries. She's developed strong human capital and retained the best for helping the organizations succeed globally. She's built some world-class organizational cultures and successfully implemented strategic and innovative human capital solutions. I think in her roles, she's proficiently mentored and trained middle management and senior executives. A trained and certified transformational coach, she's currently mentoring individuals globally. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chaira.
Thank you. Moving on to an introduction of our other guest, Mr. Vivek Gupta. He's worked as vice president and senior vice president and in similar global leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies for more than 25 years. He's worked in numerous engineering, finance, and technology companies where he led operations and global business transformations across different countries. Having been on both sides of the interview process as a candidate and as an interviewer, he brings a very strong understanding of the psychological aspects that drive such discussions. In his career, he has led all the interviews to handpick his team members from very diverse global pools of candidates coming from Asia, Europe, and the Americas. We welcome you too, sir. Thank you for being a part of this session. So I believe this session is going to be quite interactive and participative. We can look forward to some of the following topics being discussed: how the employers are changing the recruitment focus with changing times and what matters to them, how to start the job search process and work on your stories, what are the critical factors to consider and avoid when drafting a powerful resume, and I'm sure that is a big concern with most of our students here, specific examples to show what makes a resume become good or bad, and some focus on the importance of a cover letter. So I believe in the interest of time, and with this, I would like to put the floor open now for the discussion. And Rehan Saab, if you want to say anything, start. Thank you.
Very much, Shahira. Before starting the session, I would like to formally welcome all the panelists to Jamia Millia Islamia. And as all three are, I think, as per my information, they are interacting with the students of the Jamia first time. So I'm just considering that they are at the Jamia first time. So I would just like to take a few minutes to talk about Jamia also, and I would like to welcome them formally to our campus virtually. I would like to welcome all our students, and I hope this session would be a great session for them in terms of making a powerful resume. And one thing I would like to just mention here, people are talking about resume, but I have not seen in many sessions, they are not talking about cover letter. They're not talking about cover emails, which is the most important even. This is basically the entry to get your resume. So this is the biggest thing which they have really focused. They will be really focusing on, and I hope you will really get a great insight for creating a better cover letter as well as better resumes. Vivek, I'm so happy to see the very senior professional has entered in this segment. This is really a tough segment because it's really very difficult to distinguish between good trainers and the not good trainers or not very good trainers. So I am sure, like you, the professionals, those have seen both the sides, you can really do the justice with the session. Secondly, Jamia is going to celebrate its 100th Foundation Day on 29th October. So this is our centenary year. So we are just in the festive mode, and we are doing many things this year. And this session is also one of the part of this celebrations and the lecture series or the session series of our centenary year celebrations. So I welcome you to this, and I welcome you who are witnessing the 100th year of Jamia Millia Islamia. You know, Jamia Millia Islamia was founded during it was during the non-cooperation movement in 1920 on a call of Mahatma Gandhi ji to establish a non-English institution against the British government. And few freedom strugglers, those were educationists also, they just got together, like Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar. They are called Ali brothers. Sheikhul Hind Maulana Mahmudul Hassan, who laid the foundation stone of Jamia. Dr. Zakir Hussain, Dr. M.A. Ansari, who was also the president of Indian National Congress at that time. Not many people, academicians also, came from some universities at that time and laid the foundation of Jamia in Aligarh Muslim University in 1920. But of course, there were Aligarh Muslim University was also there. So it was moved in 1925 to Delhi. Hakim Ajmal Khan was also one of the founders. He gave his land in Delhi and late at Karol Bagh initially, but later on river bank of Jamna, it was shifted in 1929. And after that, it became a society in 1935. Jamna Lal Bajaj, who was very active at that time, who really funded this university at that time just to survive because of non-funding of the British government. So later, after post-independence, I think it was basically the part of freedom struggle and freedom movement. And that was a new term called at that time when Maulana Abul Kalam Azad became the first education minister. He basically he experimented the first, you may call that education policy, like Nai Taaleem. That was the education with some practical. So many things. So I will not go in the detail of that. But later in 1960, we became the deemed university, and then in 1988 we became the Central University, an act of the Parliament. And I am so glad to inform you that we have become the first Central University by the Ministry of Education in terms of our outstanding performance among all Central Universities. And we are according to the NIRF ranking 2020, we are part of the top 10 universities of the country. And again, in the world ranking also, we are at under the bracket of 600 to 800, and many other rankings are there. So I welcome you to Jamia Millia Islamia, and I welcome all my students to this session, where this session is also a multinational session, not a multinational company when you are just going to join. And people are just joining from, Vivek is joining from US, and Amit is joining from Ahmedabad, Aparna is joining from Bangalore, and we are at Delhi. And many students are also joining from different places, from even smaller places in Bihar, UP, some other places, Rajasthan, and some other places also in Delhi. So I welcome you all, and now over to Vivek. Thank you very much.
Dr. Khan, thank you very much. First of all, congratulations. Congratulations to the Jamia faculty, Jamia alumni. What a proud moment. 100 years. Very happy and very humbled to be associated with your centenary celebrations. What started 100 years ago, I think it has gained a formidable reputation. And thank you for inviting us, Dr. Khan. Shahira, thank you very much for your introduction. I also want to introduce Amit Gulati, who's logged in from Ahmedabad right now. So Amit has got almost 40 awards in public speaking. Other than all the good things he does in terms of his corporate life. He has worked in many companies, Vedanta, Infosys, Flipkart, DuPont, OLX right now. And he's a very active public speaker and an active TEDx coach. So we have, Aparna is a certified transformational coach. Amit is a known and a demonstrated and a proven TEDx coach, which is on public speaking platform. I'm really looking forward to a very engaging and a very rich session. Even though it is a webinar format, we are looking forward to getting questions. We already have some questions from the attendees, which we are going to answer during the course of the webinar. We will unmute participants, attendees who will raise their hands and ask questions. There is a prize at the end of this webinar that we will pick people who have asked the maximum number of questions. There will be polling along the way. We want to condition and respond based on what we feel is the audience ready for, or what they care about, what matters to them. So I welcome all the attendees who are joining directly and also who are joining virtually on the social media. I think Dr. Khan, Shaira, you probably have set the stage in terms of, and I think Dr. Khan, you suggested it's less about a resume. It's more about what's happening in the environment, and as a candidate, what should I care about? What should matter to me? Before I go there, let me launch our first poll, because that is an important way to understand who is the audience, what are they doing right now in terms of their job search. So we are just going to launch a poll. Please respond, and then we will see how many attendees are actively looking for a job as we speak. So as you can see, almost 80% actually are actively looking for a job right now. I just want to give you in the sense of what is going on in the environment in terms of employment and in terms of employability. We have looked at different reports from McKinsey, from ILO. We looked at the report from Asian Development Bank. And we also looked at some internal research that has been done by some talent firms like Talent 500, which is a top talent firm in Bangalore. And also we looked at the India Skills Report, the recent one. In terms of what is the macroeconomic environment looking like, 40 lakh people in India have lost jobs because of the pandemic. And we have to understand what does it mean and how does it shape up my approach towards my job search. The second piece is unemployability. Now it's slightly different than employment, right? This is about, I might have all the technical skills. I might be the top engineering student of a very top university in the country. The question is, am I employable? If I go for a job search, will my potential employers find me with all the requirements being met and aligned as per their job specifications? And in that, it's a very shocking report. Less than 50% of the students are employable. And it has actually gone down from last year. Now that should raise a question in everybody's head. What does it mean for me? There are 40 lakh more people in the country that I have to compete with for my job search. On top of it, there is a 50% chance that I am employable. So the combined effect can be pretty significant. And that is where we come in. That is where we come in with insights from the industry. That is where we come in with people who have experienced certainty and who have dealt with uncertainty. That is where we come in with, how do we get you to become the best version of yourself? We are here to share real world experiences on what we have seen in real life, in our real industry engagements, in terms of what people we found who are actually excelling, not only in their careers, but also in making career moves, not only in their academic excellence, but also in getting a job or getting a strong footing. So let me quickly transition and do the second poll. In this environment, I want to understand if there has been any challenge in terms of how you feel about being successful in your job search. So let me launch the second poll, which is, how confident do you feel, the attendees, about getting a job soon after graduating? So let me just launch this poll. The results are actually, again, kind of expected, but a little disappointing. More than 60% of us don't feel confident. And this is where we have to think hard. What is it that we need to do differently? Why the employment requirements are changing? What is changing? So if you think about the employment requirements, maybe till before March of this year, if I was an employer and I was in the job market looking for candidates, I wanted every person to be a jack of all trades. I wanted the person to be ambitious, curious, committed, sincere, top-notch in terms of technical skills, solid on soft skills. I wanted an all-rounder who could do everything and who could move mountains. But now what has happened is, because the environment has shifted, the digital spans have reduced. In the industry, majority of the work is being done on videos, on video conference. Now, if I were to assume that it's 8 hours of time, within 8 hours, even if you do 30 minutes of meetings, you can at the most have a digital span, which will have space for 16 such interactions. So I'm now laser sharp focused in what I'm looking for in a candidate. Technical skills, soft skills, and essentially a balanced personality. Your curiosity, your innovative mindset, yes, they are important still. But when you approach the market, your first impressions are not going to be how curious you are as a person. And that is the difference now, going forward. How do we create the first impressions? How do we get started in this whole thing? Let's do another poll. So what is the first thing to do to get yourself job ready? So we have the options of social media, cold call, resume, and then also your formal dress. We all feel confident that a strong resume is the best way to move forward with. So let me transition over to Aparna, my colleague. और वो बताएंगी कि how do we get started? कैसे शुरू करें the whole process of getting into the job market to get ready?
Thank you, Vivek, and very good evening to all of you. I'm going to take the cue from the poll and from the conversation we've just had, the confidence part of it, right? These are unprecedented times. Job markets are going to be really tough. It's going to a paradigm shift because of the pandemic, but also because organizations are getting much more aware and nitpicking and being picky and choosy about the students they employ, right? And for all of you to improve on your employability skills and to gain that confidence, I think two very important things before you build that resume, right? You have to know yourself. Self-realization is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and to the job market, right? A service to the job market. If you know your skills, your interests, your passion, what is it that you really want to do? It's not just about applying for any jobs. And you know, at your stage, it's okay to be a little confused. It's fine. I mean, not confident right now. And you'll get confident by preparing yourself. And the process of preparation includes knowing what you exactly want to do, right? So that's the first step. Organizations, though you may be confused and like not confident, remember the organizations want to employ people who are self-aware. They are today, everybody, this generation is getting very, very aware because of thanks to the internet. But the employers are also getting that much more. So once you know what you really want, what kind of a role that you're looking for yourself, what is your career goal? Once you get that, it becomes much more simpler and easier. Your confidence comes naturally, right? Because you know what you want to do. Number two, identify the possible jobs that you're interested in. It cannot be that you go to a website and you see there are tons of jobs open for the entry level and you apply for all. I myself have seen that there's one individual who's applied for 5 jobs. Though I like the enthusiasm, organizations enjoy it and they're happy to see. But it's not right, because then you're not showing, you are like, take any that comes my way. That's not how it should be, right? So know yourself, identify the possible job interests that you have, and then go on to building that strong resume, right? Now, how do you build, or what do you need to do to build that strong resume, right? First of all, what is a resume? Your resume needs to, be speaking to the person who is reading it, right? So it has to be engaging. It's not about making it look pretty. It's about doing the job before you're called for the interview, right? So getting the recruiter engaged. And how do you do it? You make it as comprehensive yet concise as possible, right? It has to be results driven. The format has to be clear, right? You include your skills, your experiences that are relevant to the job, right? That you are looking for or you are making, looking at. It's a very important indicator, and it helps you, gives you that ability to excel in that job that you're looking to do, right? The next part is, does your resume really, when you're looking at it, it's not just writing down a bunch of things, right, out there. Is it really telling you a story? Is it really telling them a story, right? And it's like your resume is like your marketing brochure. What would you do to sell your product? Here you are the product, right? It has to tell your story. It has to tell your story by, pointing towards one goal. And that goal should be coming up in like a summary statement for you, right? Gone are those days where you write an objective, it's dated. Today, even, people are making, organizations are wanting a video resume, right? So how do you do that? So you are unique. So you have to talk about your unique skills. That needs to come out. Your education, your software skills, your certifications. If you've done internships, highlight it. If you've done workshops, highlight it. Include as much as possible from a skill based. The other thing to remember is today organizations are also using a lot of AI to do the matchmaking between your resume and the jobs available. So your resume should have keywords, right? It should highlight your relevant skills. It should also talk about the target role that you're looking for. How does that map to that role, right? Your skills mapping to that role. The most important is storify your accomplishments. What have you accomplished during a project in your college life? What projects have you worked on? What is the internships that you did, the outcome of it? Don't just simply write down the job requirement of the internship. With that, everybody knows. We are more interested when we are hiring to know relevant information. And that information should come chronologically, right? What is your latest project that you did or internship, right? Now, what makes a very successful resume? How do you get noticed? You get noticed not by making it look pretty, right? It has to be simple. It has to be crisp. Include the summary. Make sure you're choosing a format. Format should be chronological. It should be functional. And when I use these words, which means make sure you're putting in your skills, your achievements, your education, your workshops, your internships, keywords, keywords, keywords. They're very, very important because you'll be picked up. Like Dr. Rehan said, add a cover letter. The cover letter is also important. And last but not the least, customize your resume to each job. Don't just wait there making one resume and just saying that, okay, this is where I'm going to send a mass, email to all the job postings that are there. You may want to consider making multiple versions of it. Why? Because each job may be requiring a different kind of skill set, the softer aspects, right? You may want to tell the story differently. And your preparation comes by think about it. Think through. It should not be something which is a last minute job. Now, what are very, very detrimental to this? Bad formatting. The resume flow has to be there. You can't be confusing the interviewer. You may know that the interviewer does not have a lot of time on his or her hands to go through your CV. So overall, being concise and crisp, you have to have a good formatting. So it may go bad if you are all over the place. It cannot be a generic resume, right? Unwarranted overconfidence sometimes. Like I've seen a lot of resumes, and not putting you down in terms of you're not confident. You are confident. You will build. Once you are ready, you will get the confidence. But do not avoid putting things like, I'm sure I can make a positive impact, or I'm a great addition to your team. That's for the employer to decide, not you. You just have to focus on your showing your true interest, your skills, right? Don't use cliches, jargons. Stay away from being a team player. I'm a hard worker. They're very generic terms. Remove those words. That's a big no-no, right? Make sure your address is clear, your email is clear, your summary statement. I'm just going to summarize it a little bit, what all I said. But typically make sure you're highlighting what is unique, what is you, what are your strengths in terms of your skill sets, your education, and of course your achievements, right? And to last but not the least, no mistakes, no grammatical mistakes. I know they are very, very, to you it may seem, oh, I'll just cut and paste somewhere, I'll just copy somebody's resume. It does not work. All of you have to look at yourself first and then put in all of that. And lastly, please do an overall check at the end. You have to make sure you're revising it just like you would revise your papers before exams, right? So with all that, I will probably let Vivek, ask me any more questions that you have. And I hope I was able to answer to the question that you had.
So there are a lot of questions coming in through the Q&A, which is very encouraging. So thank you to the attendees. आप ऐसे भेजते रहिए questions. And कुछ questions हमें registration के time पे भी आए हैं. We welcome. And in the meantime, हमारा poll number 4. I think ये बहुत ही important poll है. We want to understand, आपको क्या लगता है कि जब हम resume बनाते हैं, what is the biggest mistake we end up making? Is it about our social media activity? Is it about our performance in school? Is it about our weaknesses, or is it about our strengths? There are some who feel social media activity is important, performance in high school is important. Some feel that weaknesses are also important, and some say that not showing the strengths is actually a biggest mistake. Let's look at a bad resume to start with. Amit, do you want to walk us through the example?
Thanks, Vivek, and thanks, Aparna, for building the context. तो ये जो रेज्यूमे आप देख रहे हैं, ये क्या है, बैड है या ये अच्छा है, इसको जज करने से पहले एक छोटी सी स्टोरी सुनते हैं. आज से 10 साल पहले जब मैं भी कॉलेज में था आपकी तरह, मैंने एक अपना पीपी रेज्यूमे बनाया. You know what's PP? PP means power packed resume. पूरे पेज में कोई वाइट स्पेस नहीं छोड़ा, मैंने भर दिया, पावर पैक्ड. और मतलब ऐसा खुश हो गया कि मैंने तो जंग जीत ली है. अब मैं गया टॉपर के पास, उनका नाम था निधि. मैंने कहा कि आपका रेज्यूमे देख सकता हूँ. उन्होंने अपना रेज्यूमे दिखाया, बड़ा ही क्रिस्प था. उनका जो रेज्यूमे था ना, वो 0 फिगर वाला था. उसके अंदर बिल्कुल स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट लिखे हुए थे. और मैंने देखा, यार निधि आप तो टॉपर है, आपने तो इतना कम लिखा है, मैंने इतना ज्यादा लिखा है, आपका रिज्यूमे इतना बढ़िया नहीं है. पर फ्रेंड्स, as you would have already got to know what was right and what was not right. What is power packed and what is a right packed resume? Let's look at this resume and understand इसमें क्या क्या खामियां या अच्छाइयां हैं. So जैसा कि अपर्णा ने बताया, that it's very important to get an overall summary. आपने अभी तक क्या किया है वो तो जान ले पहले. तो यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कोई क्वालिफिकेशन समरी में क्या लिखता है. लुकिंग टू ऑब्टेन अ पोजीशन एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है या क्वालिफिकेशन समरी है? क्वेश्चन मार्क. अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर, कौन सी फील्ड का नहीं मालूम. एंड अप्लाई माय मेनी इयर्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, शायद 50-100 साल के एक्सपीरियंस की बात कर रहे हैं बहुत यहाँ पे जो भी व्यक्ति हैं. तो मालूम नहीं, ना स्पेसिफिक है, ना ही एक वो समरी है जो अपर्णा बता रही थी तो ऑब्जेक्टिव लग रहा है, तो बड़ा वेग लग रहा है, तो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. यहाँ पे एक रिजेक्शन तो बनता है. अगला देखते हैं, सिलेक्टेड अकम्प्लिशमेंट्स. उसका पहला पकड़ते हैं, टर्निंग डिफिकल्ट कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज इनटू स्मॉलर कोहेसिव सबमिशंस एंड प्रेजेंटेशंस. मतलब बड़े काम को छोटा छोटा करके उनको अच्छा लगता है और काम अच्छी, मतलब ये एक अच्छी बात है. बट क्या ये अकम्प्लिशमेंट है कि स्किल है? एक चीज को, एक टास्क को ब्रेक करना तो स्किल हुई. अकम्प्लिशमेंट तो तब हुई, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू आर इनटू आईटी और लेट्स से ऑपरेशंस, यू ब्रॉट एन एक्टिविटीज टर्न अराउंड टाइम, यानी कि एक एक्टिविटी को काम खत्म करने का जो समय है उसको आपने 1 घंटे से 1 मिनट में लिया है. बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है, बड़ा स्पेसिफिक है, वो अचीवमेंट है, ये स्किल है, राइट? फिर यहाँ पे अपर्णा ने बताया कि असर्टिव लैंग्वेज यूज कीजिए, कॉन्फिडेंट बनिए। असर्टिव लैंग्वेज, पैसिव लैंग्वेज से कुछ नहीं होगा। यहाँ पे लिखते हैं वर्किंग टूवर्ड्स समथिंग, बड़ा पैसिव हो गया। थोड़ा सा असर्टिव होता तो ज्यादा अच्छा लगता। एंड देन इट इज criminal if somebody is doing a mistake in spelling in a 1-2 pager resume. Utilization or utilization is also underlined there, right? So we need to be grammatically correct. And first and the foremost, ये resume होना कितने पेज का चाहिए मैं नहीं जानता, मैं बाद में बताऊंगा। पहले आप चैट बॉक्स ओपन कीजिए और वहां पे लिखिए रिज्यूमे कितने पेज का होना चाहिए। जल्दी से चैट बॉक्स ओपन कीजिए, और मैं इस कॉन्वर्सेशन को स्टॉप नहीं करूंगा, थोड़ा सा और आगे बढ़ता हूं। तो विवेक, आप यहां से आगे ले जा सकते हैं। और सभी तो यहाँ पे लोग 1 पेज का रेज्यूमे बोल रहे हैं, कई लोग तो 2-2, 3-3, 4-4 पेज के भी लिखते हैं। तो मैं सोचता था कई लोग जो ऐसा बोलते हैं कि मैंने 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस ग्रैब किया, 4 पेज का रेज्यूमे तो होगा। फिर मैं कभी कभी विवेक का प्रोफाइल उठा के देखता हूँ, ये तो 28 साल का है, 28 साल का इनका एक्सपीरियंस है, तो मतलब 12 पेज का रेज्यूमे होगा इनका। राइट। सो हम जितना स्पेसिफिक हो पाएंगे, बैकग्राउंड में समरी दे पाएंगे, और बहुत ही करेक्ट एक्यूरेट फॉर्मेट यूज कर पाएंगे और ग्रामेटिकली करेक्ट हो पाएंगे, वो एक सही रेज्यूमे है। और 1 से 2 पेज, 2 पेज मतलब मैक्स हो गया। 2 पेज की जरूरत नहीं होनी चाहिए। शायद बहुत बड़े बहुत टिपिकल चीज अगर एक्सप्लेन करनी पड़े तो शायद कभी 2 पेज, तो 1 पेज बहुत 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 हो गया कि 1 पेज एक अच्छा रेज्यूमे। राइट विवेक, I think I've answered what is a bad resume.
Let's launch our 5th poll. Good resume तो सभी लिखते हैं, मान लेते हैं for a moment. But what makes a good resume great? Which is where I think, Amit, you are going to focus on next. So let's launch that poll. देखते हैं कि what is the audience's view कि good resume को हम great कैसे बनाएं? Hobbies, tasks, skills and strengths, or your performance in every semester in college. And let me share the results. And Amit, this could be a very good segue for you. ये बताने के लिए कि good to great को कैसे cover किया जाए।
तो डॉक्टर को आपने बीमारी तो खुद ही बता दी है कि क्या उसको ठीक करना है। अभी ठीक कैसे करना है, थोड़ा सा हम उसके अंदर भी हेल्प कर लेते हैं। Now, this is a sample good resume. सबसे पहले तो मुझे अपर्णा की पहली लाइन याद आती है कि रेज्यूमे सिंपल और क्रिस्प होना चाहिए। तो मुझे दिख रहा है बड़ा सिंपल, इजी टू रीड है, इजी ऑन आइज है, और मुझे दिख रहा है कि क्रिस्प है। बट क्या ये स्पेसिफिक है? ऑब्जेक्टिव पढ़ के देखते हैं, फिर बताऊंगा। ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होता, ऑब्जेक्टिव तो आउटडेटेड हो गया, अभी समरी होता है। तो समरी देखते हैं कि क्या है। प्रोलिफिक प्रोग्रामर स्किल्ड इन पाइथन एंड जावा। अच्छा, पाइथन की बात कर रहा है, जावा की बात कर रहा है, एंड देन उसके बाद बात कर रहा है कि created some data analytics apps that can track 10,000 sensors. Oh, very specific, very specific. तो बहुत specific है, और एक summary दे रहा है। This looks a tidy resume with specific, and यहाँ पे कुछ achieve कर लिया already. So passive language भी नहीं है, assertive language है, बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है। And then we have this bonus on the achievement, कि यहाँ पे आपने क्या क्या अचीव किया, अगर आप वो एक्टिविटीज को भी डाल देते हैं वो बहुत अच्छा है। और यहाँ पे आप सबने खुद ही आइडेंटिफाई किया कि सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एक्टिविटी डालना है आपका स्ट्रेंथ्स, प्ले टू योर स्ट्रेंथ्स। तो आपका रेज्यूमे आपकी स्ट्रेंथ्स को बहुत उभार के दिखाना चाहिए। अगर वो नहीं दिखा पाए तो देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी व्हिच इज लॉस्ट, एन अपॉर्चुनिटी डोंट नॉक ट्वाइस। साथ ही में एक और पोल में आपने खुद बताया कि हम अगर स्पेसिफिक जॉब के लिए जब अप्लाई करते हैं, उस जॉब को अप्लाई करने के लिए कुछ स्किल सेट चाहिए होते हैं। हमारे पास हो सकता है 10 स्किल सेट हो, पर हम 10 के 10 तो रेज्यूमे में नहीं दिखा सकते। परेटो रूल अप्लाई करते हैं 80-20, कि क्या ऐसे कुछ पर्टिकुलर स्किल सेट्स हैं जो उस जॉब के लिए ज्यादा एप्लीकेबल है, और अगर मैं अपने रेज्यूमे में कस्टमाइज करके वही स्किल सेट यहाँ पे दिखा पाऊंगा तो शायद मेरे चांसेस, वो जो अपर्णा जी ने बताया कि KPI जो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आजकल मैच करता है रिज्यूमे आया और कैसे वो शॉर्टलिस्ट करता है, वो कीवर्ड्स होना, वो राइट स्किल सेट होना, अगर वो मैच कर लेता है तब तो पकड़ लिया उसने। तो होता क्या है, पहला बैड रिज्यूमे एक रिजेक्शन पॉलिसी होती है, जिसमें एक अच्छी जॉब पे 1000 एप्लीकेशन आती है, उस 1000 में से छंट के 100 रह जाती है। और वो कैसे होता है कि बैड रिज्यूमे नहीं होना चाहिए, स्किल सेट मैच होना चाहिए, स्पेसिफिक होना चाहिए, स्किल सेट भी स्पेसिफिक होना चाहिए। एआई ने कीवर्ड्स को कैच करके आपके पहले 100 में ले आए। अब 100 में लाने के बाद अब इंसान देखेगा, कि ये पढ़ने पढ़ने जोगा भी है या नहीं पढ़ना। तो टाइडीनेस आएगी बात, और फॉर्मेटिंग आएगी, करेक्टनेस इन ग्रामर आएगा। तो ये सब यहाँ पे दिख रहा है। तो ये सब चीजें गुड रेज्यूमे की आ जाएंगी। एंड लास्टली, इट्स अ सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस एट द एंड। तो कैन यू पोर्ट्रे टू योर स्ट्रेंथ्स and the right skill sets pertaining to that job? That's a winning resume, not a good resume. Winning resume. I hope that answers.
Yeah, Amit, there are a couple of questions actually. I'm looking at our Q&A, which are probably, it might help कि अगर हम इस समय उन questions को answer करें आपके इस page पर. The question is, we are a self-doubting generation. How to recognize our strengths?
Thanks to the person who's asked this question. Now, how do we identify what is a strength? हम कैसे जानेंगे कि हमारी स्ट्रेंथ क्या है? पहले खुद सोचिए, आंखें बंद कीजिए, कि आपने कोई ऐसा केस हुआ है जहां पे कभी प्रॉब्लम में फंस गए थे आप, या आपकी कंपनी जो आप काम कर रहे थे, या हो सकता है अगर कंपनी में आप पहले नहीं थे, आप फ्रेशर हैं, तो कॉलेज के अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम आई होगी, कभी प्लेसमेंट सेल के अंदर आई होगी, अगर ये प्लेसमेंट सेल की बात हो रही है, अगर ये अलुमनाई सेल की बात हो रही है, अगर ये पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट की बात हो रही है, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो प्रॉब्लम आई होगी। उस प्रॉब्लम में कभी आपने सोल्यूशन दिया था? अगर आपने सोल्यूशन दिया था, तो ऐसे कौन सा एट्रीब्यूट था जिसके वजह से आप वो सोल्यूशन दे पाए थे? वो आपकी स्ट्रेंथ है। तो यहाँ पे आपको खुद से ध्यान लगाना पड़ेगा अपने ही काम पे, और अपने काम पे बहुत बिलीव करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आप अगर इतनी अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ रहे हैं, बहुत कुछ अच्छा है आपके अंदर, बहुत कुछ अच्छा है अपने अंदर। जस्ट सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन अगर आप करेंगे और देखेंगे कि कैसे केस बाय केस आपके अंदर वो अच्छी चीजें हैं, तो आप बता पाएंगे उस रेज्यूमे के अंदर भी।
How can we mention our strengths in a resume? Is it kind of a bragging? How do we balance the brag with being relevant? That's one. Second, if you don't have much achievement, how do you still write something on your resume? Is it okay to mention workshops attended, seminars attended on our resume?
So, I go with LEFO, last in, first out. So yes, it is very relevant to mention what are seminars or things you've attended, and probably if you can slightly detail on what typical skill set that has added to your kitty, that would be important. Now, how to mention your strengths? Is it bragging or not? Firstly, Aparna mentioned कि ये एक ब्रोशर है जहां पे एक प्रोडक्ट को हम सेल कर, तो वहां पे स्ट्रेंथ्स तो आएंगी। अब स्ट्रेंथ डालेंगे, कौन कौन डाल सकता है स्ट्रेंथ? एक होता है फ्रेशर के अंदर वर्क एक्सपीरियंस कम रहेगा, तो उसमें स्ट्रेंथ वीकनेसेस डालना बहुत स्वाभाविक है, वो आना अनिवार्य है, वो जरूरी हो जाता है ऑलमोस्ट आना। पर जहां पे वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है, शायद वो स्ट्रेंथ एक्सप्लिसिटली नहीं डालता, वो एक केस स्टडी के अकॉर्डिंगली डालता कि मैंने फॉर एग्जाम्पल ऐसे ये कर लिया, मैंने अपनी कंपनी के अंदर करीबन 5 करोड़ रुपए बचाया थ्रू बेस्ट MIS इन एक्सेल। ओके, एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे, तो मैंने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ बता दी कि मैं MIS में अच्छा हूं, मैंने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ ये बता दी कि मैं एनालिटिक्स में अच्छा हूं, मैंने अपनी ये भी स्ट्रेंथ बता दी कि मैं एनालाइज भी कर लेता हूं एक पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम को, तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग को। तो मेरी स्ट्रेंथ मैंने अलग तरीके से बताई है। तो स्ट्रेंथ डायरेक्ट बताएंगे तो शायद ब्रैगिंग लगेगा, बट देन डेफिनेटली कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं जो आप घुमा के बता सकते हैं। Aparna, would you like to add on that?
Sure, thank you. Stick to the strengths in terms of don't make it lofty or don't make it sound like a jargon. Make it realistic. जैसे अमित ने बताया, any incident or project or internships, within your internships you have handled, what problem you handled and what was the outcome. Be very, very focused, very technical when you write that. Though I mentioned that make it a story, but don't write paragraphs or bullets. Write that specific what you handled, which will automatically talk about your strength. Instead of saying, I'm a good leader or I'm a good team player. No. You know, it's not a cookie cutter. Matlab, if I tell you an example, you will go and put that. You have to figure it out for yourself. And that is why I started my whole session by saying, know yourself. What are your strengths? Before writing it down in the resume.
I think it's a very important point, Aparna, you're making. And I'm going to use a question from Mahmood Alam also. Is it important to put a photo in the resume?
It's a big no. No, please do not put your photograph, right? Keep your resume a little bit, which creates curiosity and engaging for the employer or the recruiter to call you back, right? Unless, here also I'll give you a little googly, unless it is a job that you're applying for within a marketing space where you need to show your creativity, right? Or you may need to add a portfolio to it to show that, you know, I have done this project. You may add that in an appendix or an additional separate folder or file, but not in your resume. There was a question on skill set. What strengths do you want to put? We started this whole conversation with, if you remember the slide on how softer skills are getting more important. It should be a combination of your technical skills as well as your softer skills. Say you have done, I'll give you an example. You've been a leader or a president of a group or led a literary group or a sports group within your college, offices. Mention that, saying that leadership skills, as I have led my XYZ team or group during my college last year or first year or whatever, right? Also, in addition to that, mention that you are good with Python skills or Java skills because you have learned that as a language and your project was on that, right? Instead of just making a list of skills. It can't be a laundry list. You have to be picky and choosy about 2 or 3. Make up your mind what you want to do. To Amit's point, bhar diya pura, there's no white space, just put everything that you can. Leave some ambiguity. In the sense, leave some things for the recruiter to talk to you about. So it is creating enough curiosity on the other side to call you for that interview. Right? So skills examples could be listening skills. It could be communication skills, and give it like, I am a public speaker, I am a Toastmasters member, or I have spoken on various occasions, I have led a debate group, I have won a debate, so always back it up with an example. Short, sweet, but an example. Why you think that leadership skill is what you're talking about, right? And these skills can be read. Don't leave it up to the interpretation of the person who is reading it. Right? Be specific, be to the point, and be focused. Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you, Aparna. There are a lot of questions about a cover letter, Amit. And Dr. Khan, Shahira, if it is okay, because we are getting so many questions and the audience is so engaging, are you okay if we continue this for a few?
Absolutely. Please take your time, feel free. Please carry on with this. So I think it just goes on to show how engaging the session is because the students are constantly pouring in questions.
Yeah, in fact, I am going to also unmute a few of them and bring them on. So let's move to the cover letter. How important is it? Does it give you extra brownie points? What to write in a cover letter? How to maintain a cover letter?
Thanks, Vivek. I think students, if you are going for an interview, आप इंटरव्यू में बैठे हैं और आपसे कोई सवाल पूछे कि इंटरव्यू में मुझे सर स्माइलिंग फेस पे रखना चाहिए या सॉरी फेस रखना चाहिए या गुस्से वाला फेस रखना चाहिए, आई थिंक स्माइलिंग फेस या एक प्लीजिंग फेस कह सकता हूँ कि वो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. सिमिलरली कवर लेटर वो एक ऑप्शन है जो आपके रिज्यूमे को एक स्माइलिंग या एक प्लीजिंग फेस दे सकता है. ये वो स्नैपशॉट है जो शायद आपने रेज्यूमे में कवर नहीं किया, बट ये वो स्नैपशॉट है जो आपकी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन जहां पे आप अप्लाई कर रहे हैं और जिसके लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हैं वो उसके लिए बहुत स्पेसिफिक हो जाता है. एक छोटा सा पैराग्राफ बहुत होता है. ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप 1 से या 2 वर्जन्स ऑफ रेज्यूमे यूज करते हैं जॉब को अप्लाई करने के लिए. जैसा कि अपर्णा ने बताया, ये नहीं कि 5 जॉब्स आई 5 पे ठक ठक ठक. अगर करना भी है तो मे बी 5 में से अगर 2 को भी करना है तो शायद उसका रेज्यूमे थोड़ा तो अलग होना चाहिए, थोड़ा अलग फ्लेवर होना चाहिए. बट अगर कवर लेटर की बात करूं, शायद हर जॉब को अप्लाई करने के लिए आपका कवर लेटर हर एक के लिए अलग होगा, क्योंकि आप एक स्पेसिफिक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को निभाने जा रहे हैं और उस हायरिंग मैनेजर को बताने जा रहे हैं कि मैं मेरे में वो काबिलियत है जो इसी पर्टिकुलर स्किल सेट को ही मैं केटर करता हूं. दैट्स अ कवर लेटर. दैट्स अ स्मॉल स्नैपशॉट ऑफ व्हाट्स द बिग पिक्चर लाई इन द रेज्यूमे. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स आपके पास वो चांस रहेगा कि आप इंटरव्यू में क्रैक कर सके. तो again, it's not mandatory, but HRs of the world would always tell you, keep it handy with you and leverage your fitment. Yeah, Aparna, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying, guys, you don't worry about, don't think just because we are telling you to write various versions that har ek job ke liye resume alag hona chahiye. No, a bulk part, about 70% to 80% of your CV will be same, but tweak it to the requirement of the job in space, in the areas of skill set. Now your qualification you can't change, right? It will still be the same, right? Your address will still be the same. Your summary can be tweaked a little bit to the job. So please identify which areas you need to, not the entire CV. So don't get worried that, oh my God, I have to, if I apply for 10 jobs, I have to make 10 different resumes. No. Make maybe probably 2 or 3 versions of it and keep changing it a little bit to the job. Now, the cover letter, like Amit mentioned, make sure they're personalized to the organization and to the job. Do a referring. There has to be contextualized. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Employers are also very sharp these days, right? They know exactly which is run of the mill, which is like, photocopy 10 times and just send it. These are all dated. They're all gone. Like I was mentioning today, though, people are doing video CVs. And guys, if you can, I would encourage you, all people who are feeling confident enough, make your video CV along with a written CV, because it's very, very important. A lot of things get, faster there.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't even have to write your skills. You just talk about it, which is much more easier. Jessica just asked, do we have to give references of people in the CV? A big no references. Keep the references if you are called, and you will be called for an interview. Talk about references if you are asked to. Do not give references on CV or on cover letter.
Amit, should I, this is from Ayushi, should I add my certificates in the resume, irrespective of that I don't have experience to show, if she has used those skills for which the certificate was acquired?
I think it's a very relevant question, firstly, because it depends upon what is there to showcase in your resume. If you've already got too many things already showcased in your resume, then probably that is not required. But let's say there was a question, sometimes you do not have many things to write upon in a CV. And to add what is there, which is true as well, there's no harm in writing that, because that is truth. So that brings in value when you have not many things to add upon. But if you already have a PP resume, please do not bother getting those certifications in that, because there are a lot of people who have done certification. And while Aparna has already mentioned this, that if you can bring in that a specific example where how you probably demonstrated that skill or a certification, that would have been more better.
There is a very interesting question which I want to ask. जब हम fresh graduate हैं, 2 चीजें होती हैं. एक तो हमारे पास हाई स्कूल का एक्सपीरियंस है, एकेडमिक एक्सपीरियंस है, और दूसरा है हमारे मार्क्स परसेंटेजेस एंड जीपीए. सो अलसबा फरूकी, यू हैव आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन, सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. अगर फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट हैं और हमारे पास ज्यादा कंटेंट नहीं है डालने के लिए, आई थिंक दिस वाज अ क्वेश्चन दैट केम इन द रजिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस. हाउ डू आई मैनेज टू हैव अ डिटेल्ड रेज्यूमे इवन इफ आई हैव लेस कंटेंट टू पुट? हाउ शुड आई अरेंज देम? हम अपने मार्क्स या परसेंटेज या जीपीए दिखाएं या नहीं अपने रेज्यूमे में?
The GPA, now let's be strategic here, okay? If your GPA is good, make sure you mention it. But if you are an average, there is no place for mediocrity, remember, in an employment world, right? There's no place for mediocrity. So if you've not done very well and you're an averaging student, do not mention your GPA unless it is like mind-blowing, right? unless it is somewhere that you can mention that in your strengths or in your certifications or in your skill education area. Because remember, if you mention one GPA in the last one, your previous one may have been pretty bad. You have to be consistent. Right? So if you are showing your engineering degree, or if you are showing your +2, and one more thing, always mention the most recent. You don't need to go back till your class 10 and create content if you don't have. Actually, if you don't have too much of content, good for you. You can finish it off in one page, which is what we are looking for, right?
Point is taken in terms of what is really relevant and is it showcase worthy. That is how you decide कि क्या डालना है, क्या नहीं डालना है. Now, Jasim Rashid, if you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. So you do talk about like how to make the CV and all, but I do want to talk about like what are the cherry points that they like. If I'm suppose doing a BA economics and I'm in final year right now, so what are those cherry points? Like if I want to join an investment banking company or like a consultancy company, so what are those cherry points? And if I have to, another question is that if I have to mention my GPA, then what is the like decent GPA which shall be like considered? Thank you, sir.
अगर आप अभी अब जैसे अभी आपने बताया इकोनॉमिक्स में है and you want to join consulting or any similar investment banking field, so we work with a lot of candidates who are very targeted in terms of वो क्या चाह रहे हैं, उनका क्या एस्पिरेशन है. तो एडमिस्ट में हम लोगों ने कई लोगों के साथ काम किया है जो कि टारगेटेड फील्ड्स के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हैं. तो वन इज ऑलवेज फील फ्री टू रीच आउट टू मिस्टर अजय शर्मा, जिसका डॉक्टर खान जिक्र भी कर रहे थे, हमारे को फाउंडर है, and he will help you navigate that question and he will get you to the right person. And this is, I'm telling for everyone, we will actually share Mr. Ajay Sharma's details towards the end also. That's one. Second, you can always write to us, support@edmyst.com. We'll be very happy to answer your questions and help you if there are questions that you think you're not able to ask here. And because you're asking for a targeted industry, and the audience is very diverse, I don't want to talk about investment banking or just कंसल्टिंग और जस्ट इकोनॉमिक्स. हर फील्ड के लिए ये जरूरी है ये समझना कि आप क्यों चाहते हैं वो फील्ड, क्यों आपको लगता है कि आप उस फील्ड के लिए फिट हैं. पहले तो अपना अवेयरनेस होना चाहिए कि मेरे कौन से स्किल्स हैं जो कि इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग के लिए बहुत पर्टिनेंट है, या एक डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी जॉब के लिए बहुत पर्टिनेंट है, या एक इकोनॉमिस्ट जॉब के लिए बहुत पर्टिनेंट है, और ऐसे कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स मैंने कवर किए हैं यूनिवर्सिटी में, जामिया में, which make me a very strong candidate. So you have to list it down. और जासिम इसका ना एक प्रोसेस है, और मैं इसीलिए बता रहा था कि आप हमारे पास आइए एडमिस्ट में and we'll help you because we want to make sure that you understand the process. And अपर्णा ने स्टार्ट किया था जब बताया था कि आपका सेल्फ अवेयरनेस बहुत जरूरी है, और सेल्फ अवेयरनेस का सिर्फ मतलब ये नहीं कि मेरे में क्या खामियां हैं या मेरे क्या स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं. सेल्फ अवेयरनेस में ये भी जरूरी है जानना कि मैं अगर एक पर्टिकुलर रोल चाहता हूं तो क्यों चाहता हूं, एक पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री में जाना चाहता हूं तो क्यों जाना चाहता हूं, मैं रिज्यूमे में क्या डालूं, दैट द इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग एम्प्लॉयर और द कंसल्टिंग एम्प्लॉयर विल एक्चुअली गेट यू टू कम इन फॉर एन इंटरव्यू. एक पूरा एक प्रोसेस है और ये बहुत मुश्किल है एक वेबिनार में जिसमें हम ऑलरेडी 15 मिनट ऊपर जा चुके हैं उसमें समझाना. बट वेरी हैप्पी टू ऑल्सो टॉक टू यू ऑफलाइन. जासिम, प्लीज फील फ्री, हम आपके साथ फोन नंबर शेयर करेंगे एंड में. फील फ्री टू रीच आउट टू अस. आतिका जावेद, प्लीज गो अहेड, आस्क योर क्वेश्चन.
Sir, hello sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था, जैसे कोई भी मतलब हम इंटरव्यू में जा रहे हैं बट हमारे पास स्किल्स हैं बट हम कम्युनिकेट सही नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो रिजेक्शंस हो सकते हैं?
देखिए, रेज्यूमे एक कॉन्वर्सेशन है आतिका, जैसे हमने बताया पहले, इट स्टार्ट्स द डायलॉग. तो आप रेज्यूमे में किस तरह से प्रेजेंट करते हैं अपने आप को, किस तरह से आप अपने आप को पोजीशन करते हैं, that opens the door. जब आप इंटरव्यू के लिए जाते हैं और आपको अगर लगता है कि आप ठीक से कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर सकते हैं, so उसके लिए there are ways to improve your skills, there are ways to understand कि वो कौन सी चीजों पे हम फोकस करें ताकि जो हमने रिज्यूमे में जो दरवाजा खोला है हम उसके अंदर जा सकें. So there is, yes, the short answer is कि बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं आप. That is never a constraint. हर कोई पैदा नहीं होता है as a strong communicator. I mean, I always aspire to become as good as Amit, for example. मेरे को ये भी मालूम है कि अगर मैं मेहनत करूंगा तो बिल्कुल अमित की तरह पहुंच सकता हूं. ये याद रहे कि अगर आपको लगता है कि जैसे एक क्वेश्चन था कि मैं इंट्रोवर्ट हूं या मेरे पास कंटेंट कम है, डेप्थ कम है, एक्सपोजर कम है, हर चीज को ओवरकम किया जा सकता है। एंड वही चीजें हम सिखाते हैं एडमिस्ट में। हमारे पास ऐसे लोग आए थे जिन्होंने कभी 5 लोगों से ज्यादा कभी किसी से बात नहीं करी थी, एंड दे हैव 7, 8, 10 इंटरव्यूज लाइंड अप। सो आतिका, किसी कंस्ट्रेंट को कंस्ट्रेंट ना समझें, हर किसी के पीछे मेहनत और एक प्रोसेस है उसको ओवरकम करने का।
So, विवेक, इसमें
थैंक यू सर।
उनका एक साथ में एक सवाल ये भी था कि क्या ये रिजेक्शन को लीड कर सकता है अगर वो कम्युनिकेशन ढंग से ना करे?
बिल्कुल।
तो उसका जवाब है हाँ। और मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ उसके लिए। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर सपोज कीजिए आप अपनी ही बात को, अपनी ही स्टोरी को सही तरीके से सामने वाले को नहीं बता पाए, तो सपोज कीजिए आप एक टीम में काम कर रहे हैं और एक फॉर एग्जांपल एक आईटी प्रोजेक्ट में काम कर रहे हैं, वहां पे टीम है, या कोई और प्रोजेक्ट में काम कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे टीम है। अब आपको एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट जो आपका काम है आपने दूसरे वाले को बताना है और वो क्लियरली नहीं बता पाए, तो वो तो डम्फाउंडेड हो जाएगा, उसको तो नहीं पता चलेगा कहाँ से शुरू करना है, कहाँ से खत्म करना है। तो ये तो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्किल है। पर हैविंग सेड दैट, जैसा कि विवेक ने कहा, ये इंपॉर्टेंट स्किल को जब हम इंपॉर्टेंट जान लेते हैं तब उस पर हम वर्क करना शुरू हो जाते हैं। और व्हाट इज द राइट टाइम टू वर्क? नाउ। तो अभी से आप इस पे काम करना शुरू हो जाए।
यस। सो आतिका, अगेन बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने ये पूछा। ना मोहम्मद महमूद आलम, आप अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं।
रिज्यूमे और सीवी में क्या डिफरेंस है?
ओके अपर्णा, आई थिंक यू हैव अ रेडीमेड आंसर।
Yeah. So actually, I'll add on to your question. CV, resume, biodata are interchangeably used these days or from before, but you have to understand that what it really means. There is a theoretical meaning or a definition to all of these, but in today's world, resume is something that is always being used. Curriculum vitae is more about your personal details included, and biodata, like the word says biodata, it's more biological, it means very factual. It does not give you the whole opportunity to write about your achievements, your accomplishments, right? So biodata is gone, do not use the word. Curriculum vitae, which means a little bit more longer. So you can explain a lot of things, and that can go on to a 2-pager originally. But in today's world, for your context and for this particular session, and for you to prepare your resume, to the word resume, forget a CV. If it is used, understand that it is interchangeably used by the person who is telling you that. But you yourself make it a habit to call it a resume. You can say CV if your other person on the other side is saying it, but just focus on writing just this. It's the same for all purposes. Short answer, it means the same today, in today's world.
Thank you अपर्णा।
मोहम्मद हसन।
हाँ मोहम्मद हसन, गो अहेड।
यस सर, मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, जैसे सर मैं फाइटर हूँ, बट मैं लैंग्वेज से भी यहाँ पे बीए कर रहा हूँ, लास्ट ईयर है। तो अगर मैं जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करूंगा, मुझे ऐड करना है कि मैं फाइटर हूँ, तो क्या मैं ऐड कर सकता हूँ? हालांकि वो रिलेवेंट नहीं है, या कोई किसी और जॉब के लिए जिसमें ये फाइटिंग होना ये कोई इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं रखता है, लेकिन मुझे डालना है, तो क्या मैं डाल सकता हूँ?
अगर आप मान लीजिए आप फाइटर हैं और आपको एक असिस्टेंट की जरूरत है या ट्रेनर की जरूरत है, और आपने बोला अपने सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट पे कि मैं एक ट्रेनर की खोज कर रहा हूं। सपोज करिए मैं अप्लाई करता हूं और मैं बोलता हूं कि मैं सिंगर हूं, मैं आपका ट्रेनर बनना चाहता हूं, आप क्या करेंगे? आप मेरे को ट्रेनर बनाएंगे?
नो।
ओके, लेकिन मैं ये लिखूंगा कि मैं ट्रेनिंग जानता हूं और साथ में सिंगिंग भी करता हूं, आप जॉब नौकरी देंगे मेरे को?
यस।
ओके, सी अगेन इट डिपेंड्स मोहम्मद हसन कि आप पहली चीज, जैसे अपर्णा जी ने कहा कि किस चीज के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हैं। सबसे जरूरी है ये जानना कि जो रोल है उसकी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है। जैसे आपने पहली बार में बोला कि अगर आप फाइटर हैं, ट्रेनर खोज रहे हैं, और मैं बोल दूं कि मैं जी सिंगर हूं, आप नहीं लेंगे, एकदम खट से बोल दिया आपने। क्यों बोला आपने? क्योंकि रोल की जरूरत ही नहीं है सिंगिंग के। लेकिन अगर मेरे को फाइटिंग आती है, ट्रेनिंग आती है, और साथ में मैं सिंगिंग करता हूं, लेकिन मैं एक पेज के सीवी में अपना फाइटिंग स्किल्स नहीं डाल पाया, ट्रेनिंग स्किल्स नहीं डाल पाया, तो मैं सिंगिंग स्किल्स डालना चाहिए मुझे कि नहीं?
पहले तो वही डालना चाहिए जो रिलेवेंट हो।
हाँ एग्जैक्टली। तो आप ये समझिए कि उस
सर,
रोल के लिए क्या रेलिवेंट है, पहली चीज। अगर आप वो समझा सके, हाँ, अगर आप बोलते कि मैं सॉरी, अगर मैं बोलता एज अ कैंडिडेट कि मैं ट्रेनर हूं, कोच सॉरी और फाइटर हूं, हाँ मैं साथ में ना फिजियोथेरापिस्ट भी हूं, वो रेलिवेंट स्किल है, उस स्किल को मैं यूज कर सकता हूं, क्योंकि मेरे को फिजियोथेरेपी मतलब मेरे को जरूरत पड़ सकती है, समझ रहे हैं?
थैंक यू सर।
राइट, सो हमेशा ये देखिए कि रोल से क्या रेलिवेंट है। अच्छा, अभी एक सजाद हुसैन, मैं आपको भी आने के लिए बोल रहा हूं, तो आप अपना अनम्यूट करके आप पूछ सकते हैं अपना क्वेश्चन।
हेलो।
हाँ सजाद।
हेलो, सुन पा रहे हैं सर? सुन पा रहे हैं सर?
हाँ बिल्कुल
सर, जैसे मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे हम अगर इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं और हम इंग्लिश में बातें कर रहे हैं, इन केस अगर बीच में आकर हम आंसर दे रहे हैं और अपनी बात इंग्लिश में पूर्ण रूप से ना कर पा रहे हैं, तो क्या वह भाषा चेंज की जा सकती है? हिंदी में बोल सकते हैं वहां पे, या वहां बिल्कुल चुप हो जाएं?
अमित।
Thanks, Vivek, and thank you for asking this question. तो बड़ा ही सिंपल, मेरे तो बड़ा सिंपल सा आंसर है इतने इतने अच्छे प्रश्न का। वो आंसर ये है कि क्या उस जॉब की रिक्वायरमेंट में इंग्लिश नेसेसरी है? अगर हाँ, तो शायद वो सही तरीका नहीं होगा हिंदी में बात करने का, क्योंकि उनको तो पकाया हुआ फल चाहिए, राइट? और जहां पे अंग्रेजी ही चाहिए। अगर आपके इंटरनेशनल क्लाइंट्स हैं, यूएस के क्लाइंट्स हैं, यूके के क्लाइंट्स, और आप बात करें कि नहीं मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूं, तो वहां पे तो एक प्रश्न चिन्ह लग जाएगा। लेकिन जहां पे इंडिया में ही काम करना है और जॉब की ऐसी कोई स्ट्रिक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है कि आपको अंग्रेजी में ही बात करना है, तो आप बिल्कुल निसंकोच होके अपनी हिंदी नहीं, एक रीजनल भाषा में भी बात कर सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं गुजरात से बात कर रहा हूं, तो गुजरात के ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कि हिंदी नहीं, सिर्फ गुजराती में ही बात करते हैं, उनके लिए भी जॉब्स हैं। तो जॉब में क्या चाहिए वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। हाँ, कभी कभी स्पेशली अगर कोई बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, चाहे उस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट पे अगर आपको इंग्लिश में नहीं बोलना है और शायद रिक्वायरमेंट इंग्लिश की भी थी, तो भी निसंकोच आप उस बात को भी हिंदी में या किसी भी रीजनल भाषा में जो सामने वाले को समझ में आए, वो आप कर सकते हैं।
और मैं एक चीज और बताना चाहता हूं अमित, कि हमारा अगला हफ्ते एक और सेशन है जिसमें कि हम इन चीजों के बारे में बात करेंगे, इंटरव्यू स्किल्स के बारे में। तो क्वेश्चंस बहुत अच्छे थे। दो तीन चीजें मैं बोलना चाहता हूं, कई क्वेश्चंस का जवाब नहीं दे पाए, हम वो ईमेल पे देंगे। आई थिंक द इंपॉर्टेंट पीस इज ऑल्सो फॉर अस टू अनाउंस सम ऑफ द विनर्स वी हैड टॉक्ड अबाउट इन द बिगिनिंग, जिन्होंने भी लाइव क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं। आतिका, मोहम्मद हसन, जासिम रशीद, सजाद हुसैन, महमूद आलम, अगर मैं किसी का भूल रहा हूं तो माफ करिएगा, एंड लाइबा। हम रेज्यूमे हम फ्री में रिव्यू करेंगे, और आगे अगर बात करनी है तो वी विल गिव यू 80% डिस्काउंट। पहले हमने सोचा था शाहिरा, जस्ट सो यू नो, जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था कि हम 2 लोगों को प्राइस देंगे, but looking at the energy of the attendees and the audience, we just expanded. I think it is great for us also.
I was about to ask for R as well, but
जामिया के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए हमारा एक खास एक हमारी जगह है. You have your 100-year centenary celebrations. Again, congratulations to everyone. Pass it on to you, Shahira and Dr. Khan, for having given us the opportunity. Thank you very much. Amit, Aparna. But most importantly, all the attendees. उनके बगैर तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. And जिन्होंने क्वेश्चंस पूछे, बड़ा अच्छा लगा. And we were able to share our insights also. हम अपनी बात कर सके. So thank you again, Dr. Khan, Shahira. You can take it off.
Thank you, sir. That Suri has been called on something urgent, so he had to step out of the meeting. So he made sure that I mention this when the session gets over. So as all good things come to an end, I think so has this wonderful session. It's been excellent. Thank you so much for taking out time, and especially Mr. Gupta. I mean, I know you're managing it in your busy schedule there in the US. Thank you so much, Mr. Gulati. Thank you, Mr. Asghar. Thank you so much. And I think so important point which I felt, because I come from an HR domain, so what I sensed is that you've managed to highlight just how a resume is not only about your skills and qualities. It's so much more than that, especially in the unprecedented and challenging times that we're in. Thank you once again. And on behalf of the University Placement Cell at Jamia Millia Islamia, I would like to thank our exceptional panel for taking our time and effort, for giving us such a wonderful and insightful session. I thank all the students, and this has been one of the most engaging sessions in a very long time that we've seen. Although we keep holding sessions frequently, the very fact that we 5:30 baje bhi, I think I can sense so much of excitement. It says a lot. Thank you, Ms. Khastagir also. I mean, your inputs were really invaluable. Thank you so much. and we hope that जो questions हम answer अभी नहीं ले पाए obviously due to the positive time, that we are able to take them later, maybe
Yes,
offline. We
absolutely.
can send across our questions and get them addressed. So thank you once again. Thanks to all the students. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again in the near future. Inshallah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tyra, I am also back now.
Okay. Rehan sir is back. Great. We have him with us.
So thank you very much. I also would like to say thanks to all of you, and it was really a great session. I just missed a few part of the session, but almost I was there. So now I thank Mr. Vivek, Aparna, and Mr. Amit. A special thanks to Mr. Ajay Sharma for connecting me to EdMyst, and hope we'll have few more sessions with you, and we'll learn from you more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thanks
Khan.
all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Or if you have taken some feedback, please also share that feedback with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.